Good evening and welcome to Saturday night. This is February 7th, 2009, and I am Darrah. You are listening to, yes, you are listening to RadioVisions. And as you all know, if this is your first time with us, I'd like to thank you. I'd always like to thank all the listeners out there that keep coming back every Friday and Saturday night to listen, and all of the other listeners who come back just to listen to the music every chance they get. I do appreciate it. Because without you guys, we wouldn't have anything. It would just be a very tired and lonely station. So keep that in mind that as long as you're listening, this station will be here, pumping out music that you've probably never heard of, pumping out music that you have heard of, and pumping out new artists that you may have never heard of because they're just starting out. So keep that in mind. And if you produce your own music, send it to us and we'll get it put into the system, and maybe some of your friends and new people will be able to hear what you produce. Keep that in mind as well. And if you're familiar with the shows, that every week or every Friday and every Saturday we have a different topic. And topics change. Sometimes they come and go. Sometimes one night will not be just one topic. Maybe it will be several. But we'll always circle back on itself to come back to the original. I know it's hard to put your head around sometimes. And remember why we're here live every Friday and Saturday night between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. Central Time. And if you want a live reading done, please just jump on the instant messenger. You'll see it to the right side of the screen you're looking at, and type in your message, hit enter, and I will instantly get it, and I will give you a reading in the areas that you need, regardless if it's just basic life stuff, if it's relationships, if it's work related, or if you just want to know if it's time for a new change. I can help you with that. Keep that in mind as well. So tonight's new topic is change. Actually, it is change who we are. Now that is a very tricky and different question. It's not really a question, it's a title. Change who we are. And I'm going to jump into this with both feet, I guess, to say, what would you do to change who you are? Let's round this into a situation where you might understand it a little better. And that's a relationship. Let's start with this area, and we'll move on to other areas as this goes on. And if you have any ideas, instant message me, and we'll go on with those ideas as well. So keep that in mind. If you're dating someone, regardless if you're a guy, you're a girl, you're dating someone, regardless if it's a guy or a girl, what would you do to keep them? Would you change who you are? If you're the type of person that likes to go out when you can, I'm not saying you go out every single night, but you go out 2 or 3 times a month. Or let's say every other weekend you want to go out either on Friday or Saturday night, have a good time. And your other half decides that that's not appropriate anymore because they can't always go with you. So do you sacrifice that to make them happy? And if you do, what is your other half willing to sacrifice to make you happy? Are we going to change who we are individually to stay in a relationship? Or is it just too much to ask someone that you want to be with to say, hey, this is who I am. You knew that when we met. So why do you think I'm going to quit doing it now? That right there is what gets most people in trouble. Let me give you a scenario here, and I'll tell you why that gets most people in trouble. I'm going to do this from a guy's point of view. Why? Because I am a guy. And let's look at this logically, okay? You're a guy, you go out, meet this knockout young lady, you decide you can't live without her. So you pursue her a little bit, Maybe if you're out clubbing, when you find her, you buy her a drink. You just start talking to her. However you want to approach it, you do it. Then after seeing her 4 or 5 times at the club within the next month or two, you get up enough nerve to ask her out, and you ask her out. You guys seem to hit it off, so you start dating a little more seriously, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Then it becomes more and more and more, and then pretty soon you're seriously dating, hardcore. That's cool. Now here's the problem. She still likes to go out clubbing every other weekend, and you decided, since you guys are dating, you don't need to anymore. Well, why should she have to quit doing something she liked? You knew she liked you because that's how you met her. Why should she give that up? Why should she change for you? What are you willing to change for her? Why can't you both just go out and continue to have a good time? That's something to think about, isn't it? A lot of people don't look at it this closely. Some people just look at, well, you've changed. You've done this. You've done that. No, actually, they haven't. If you've decided they're doing something you no longer like, and the problem is you're the one that's changing, not them. Because if you knew they were going to a club every other Saturday and staying out until it closed and coming home, and you decided that's not what they need to be doing, then you're the one that changed, not them. They're still doing the same old routine they were doing when you guys met. Keep that in mind. And ladies, if you're dating a guy that you're seeing these things manifest, that he's wanting to draw you in, keep you for himself, or seems awful jealous, however you want to look at it, you need to take a step back and ask you if that's a relationship you want. It might be. Maybe if you tweaked a little bit, tweak what you do and how you do it, maybe it will work out just fine. You'll both live happily ever after. It's happened before, and it will happen again. But then on the other hand, if you decide to give up what you like, ladies, is he willing to give up something he likes in order to keep you later on down the road? If you decide, hey, if I quit going to the club every other weekend and staying out until 2 a.m., either with you or without you, what are you going to do for me? I've decided I don't like the way you dress anymore. Are you going to change that? They probably won't, ladies. But the guy needs to look at it that way. Is he going to change for you or not? Now I know we're talking about changes and things along that line. But remember, changes take all sorts of shapes. It can be the relationship change, like one decides to do the other, like we've been talking about. Or it can be a whole nother idea of change who we are. How many of you out there, regardless if you're a guy or a girl, have got up one morning or one afternoon, depends on what your schedule is, you know, and decided that something in your life needed to be changed, and you were going to change who you are in order to make a new life for yourself? That sounds pretty easy, doesn't it? You wake up one morning and decided, I do not like living in the suburbs anymore, and I want to live in the downtown area, or I want to live in the country. Do you really know what that entails to change? Let's dissect this one a little bit. And if you're just joining us, my name is Darrah, and you're listening to RadioVisions, and we are here every Friday and Saturday nights between 11 p.m. and 10 p.m. That was backwards, wasn't it, boys and girls? How about 10 p.m. to 11 p.m.? That's better. And remember, if you come to our Visions by Darrah and want to listen to music, please click on the music link and it will be playing for you all the time, 24/7. And remember, if you're an artist, a musician, or anything in between those things, and you produce your own music and you would like to get it out there in the world and let people hear it, send it to me. You can put it on a CD and send it to me by mail with a broadcasting permission form. You may read the RadioVisions website page, and if you're okay with the disclaimer, you can email me all your music. We are doing that now, so because we had a number of requests, people if they could just email me music. So sure, you can email it to me. I'll be happy to get it in the system. And once it's in the system, you'll be able to hear your own music amongst very many other talented people out there. And yes, you will get the credit for it. You will get the credit for your own music, your own production, whatever it is you send. And originally, I think our website says that we were looking for music that is new age or smooth jazz. But I'm here to tell you that we will accept about anything right now because we need music really bad. So if you produce new age, smooth jazz, rock, pop, country, classic, whatever you produce and whatever you enjoy, if you think the listeners out there on RadioVisions would like it, please submit it and I'd be happy to get it out there. Okay, back to our topic. The topic was change who we are. And we were talking about, would you change where you lived if you decided where you lived, like in the suburbs, was boring and unfulfilling for you all of a sudden? Would it be worthwhile to move into a downtown metro area or way out into the country where you had to go to work, you had to drive maybe an hour to 2 hours just to get to work one way? What kind of change does that entail in your life? Well, let's stop and take a look at it. What are you doing now? You probably live in a nice house or a nice apartment, and you're tired of making house payments, or you're tired of mowing the lawn, or you're tired of just being you, whatever the reason is. You want to change, and you think this will do it for it by moving. So you sell your house or get out of the lease of your apartment or whatever and move into the downtown area. Let's say that. You rent another apartment. Let's say it's a loft apartment, overlooks the river, and you're paying through the nose for it like everybody would be. Does that change fulfill you? Does it make you any better than you were where you were at in the beginning? Or are you looking to go the other direction and simplify and get away from everything? So once you leave work at the end of the day, you can drive 2 hours home and you're in the middle of nowhere by yourself. That's where you want to be. You're living in a small cabin, let's say, or even a trailer. So you're out there by yourself, and how does that fulfill you? I mean, does it get rid of the things that are bothering you? Does it get rid of the hassle of high payments on the house or an apartment? Does it get rid of the hassle of taking care of a yard or having more yard to take care of? What are you really looking for when you want to change? When you change who you are? I know this is kind of bizarre. I know this is kind of different for a lot of us. A lot of people have never thought about it. We have dreamed about it in contents of, it's only a dream, it will never happen, so it's safe. It is safe. Okay, how many people out there got caught up in the housing problem? Let's say you're in a house now, and all of a sudden you find yourself unable to afford your payments anymore. And the bank's closing in, your insurance companies are closing in, taxes are closing in, and you just feel like the world's trying to choke you out until you're dead. Okay, fine. It happens. It's happened to a lot of people right now. So if you could just chuck it all and disappear and either move into a nice small apartment somewhere and start over, or out into the country and start over, would you? Could you chuck your entire life that you've built for the last 5 or 10 years and just chuck it? Or for the last 20 years and chuck it? A lot of you out there are probably saying no. A lot of you saying in a heartbeat, no big deal. This is the dilemma. By changing locations, are you really changing the issue, the problem, the need to have something different? the need to downsize, the need to upsize, the need to run away and hide, the need to get away. Whatever that need is in this scenario of change, is it going to work for you? I hope so. And for those of you that do that, good for you. I applaud you. Because taking that step to change your life is something really hard. A lot of people take for granted every day. And you don't need to take it for granted. You just need to get up and do it. Change that thing. Now let's look at change in a different way. A lot of people change who they are, not by throwing their house away, their apartment away, and moving somewhere else. They change who they are by maybe changing their hair color, maybe changing the style of clothing they used to wear, trying to reinvent themselves, let's say. How far would you go to reinvent yourself? Guys, would you shave your head and wear a muumuu all day? Interesting concept. How about this one? I see a lot of people say they're going to make a change in their life and they end up getting tattoos. Now that's a pretty big step, getting a tattoo. Pretty permanent. And I know what some of you are thinking, well, it's not permanent. You can get them removed. Yes, you can, but most people don't once they get them. They keep them and they're on there forever and ever and ever. How far would you go to change yourself by tattooing? Or even body piercing for that? Would you limit the artwork or the highlighted features to just your arms, legs, torso? Or would you do other areas of your body? Your face? Your hands? Your neck? Places where people could see regardless what profession you were in. How many people out there know somebody that has a facial tattoo? Stop and think about it. You're getting a tattoo put on your face, regardless if it's just something really basic like teardrops, or if it's flowers on your cheek, or a lightning bolt across your forehead, or whatever you want. Think about that. That's pretty permanent. That's one of the first things someone's going to see when they meet you. What's the change there? What's that do for you? Makes you different? Yeah, it does. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's a matter of opinion right there, boys and girls. Matter of opinion. And it's always interesting to see people that have body art or tattoos. Because some of them are the nicest people you'll ever meet on the face of this planet. And I think that's what tattoos do to people. And I think before you get tattoos, even if you're the biggest idiot in the world, and you start getting tattoos, I mean lots of tattoos, it tends to change it, because then people that you don't know will walk up and comment. And are you still going to be an idiot to them all the time? Or are you going to be easygoing and finally give in and say, hey, yeah, this was something I started and it kind of took on a life of its own and here we are? I think it's interesting to see how that works for people. But you know how that goes. Once you start something, sometimes you can't stop. I've seen people with body art that covers from their neck all the way down, and every inch of their body is pretty much covered. And then I've seen people that have everything covered, their face, their ears, and their entire body. So how far are you willing to go to change yourself? Change who you are? You going to do it physically by getting tattoos or body piercings? Are you going to change who you are just to please somebody else? If, and I mean if, you change who you are, you need to be doing it for the right reasons. You need to be doing it for yourself. If you smoke 6 packs of cigarettes a day and get in a relationship and they try to talk you out of smoking, I think that's a really big sign right there that that relationship may not work. Regardless if it was the smart thing for you to do, which probably is if you're smoking 6 packs a day, that's really expensive. In the long run, it will probably give you a few extra years to live. But at the same time, this person met you while you were smoking, so why all of a sudden, if you start dating or get married, are they thinking you're going to quit? I think that's kind of silly, don't you? They loved you that way when they met. They fell in love with you that way. So why all of a sudden do you need to change in order for them to continue to love you? I don't know. Relationships are strange. I've been on the outside of a relationship looking in for so long that it's kind of funny, to be honest. When you're in a relationship, sometimes you don't see all the pitfalls that are coming until after they happen. And I'm not for sure why that is. And then when the relationship fails, because so many of them do, you may be with someone for 2 weeks, you may be with them for 40 years before it fails. But they always seem to fail at some point in time. Or it doesn't fail, like you guys break up, get divorced, whatever. But it fails in the sense of you guys kind of shut down just enough so you're not really talking about problems, but you're not really fixing problems. You're just kind of coexisting together and getting through the daily routines and trying to convince yourself that's what life's all about. We're together because we said we were going to be. Are you happy though? Is it time to change because you're not really happy? I don't know. I personally think if you are happy with who you are, and if someone else is in a relationship with you, they should be happy with who you are because they're happy with who they are. Correct? For anybody out there that's listening and wants to put in a couple 2 cents worth of comments, instant message me and I will gladly pass along to everybody what you're feeling, what you're saying. And this could be something kind of cool. Could be something kind of amazing. But either way, I would like your comments. Now, for those of you who had just tuned in, this is Darrah, and you're listening to RadioVisions. This is Saturday night, February 7th, 2009. And I hope you enjoy the website to this point. We still need music, boys and girls. Lots of it. We've got some music on the website that's been streaming 24/7 since New Year's Day, 2009. We need more. Lots more. Or what you're listening to is going to get old really, really quick. And we don't want that. So if you're a musician that would like to get your music out there, please send it to me. You can send it by mail. You can email it. Either way, please send it to me. Let me get it integrated into the magic computer box here, and we will get it broadcasting so the whole world can hear it. And you will get the credit for it. The other day someone says, how do I get the credit for it? Because I was on your website listening to music and it was great. But there's no DJs on it. There's nobody to announce the songs or not announce the songs. And I go, that's true. You get the credit this way. When the music's playing, if you look at your media player that's playing the music on your computer, in the left-hand corner, you will see the title of the song and the artist name. There's your credit. Bingo. Just like magic. Your name's out there in front of the world. Which is a good thing to be. To have your music out there. So, keep it coming in. Style of music doesn't matter. I know our website still says new age or cool jazz, but it really doesn't matter. Send us anything and everything you have. The only thing I do ask is that it is all age friendly. So keep that in mind, and everything will be just kosher. And if you're out there planning parties or get-togethers or whatnot, keep me in mind. I do private parties. I also do private readings. And the private parties that I do are called a psychic party. They're one of the best party things you can do. How many people throw a party and actually have a psychic at their party? Most people, if they have entertainment at their party, they bring in a DJ or they set up a karaoke machine. Don't get me wrong, that's fun. That's great. But that's pretty everyday. Almost everybody does that. But having a psychic at your party is something different, unique. And people will remember that from time to time. Like, oh, remember that party Linda had 2 years ago? That guy that was there was doing these readings? That was just so cool. Yep, that's what will happen. That could be your party instead of Linda's. So keep that in mind. In the psychic party, I come in, set up a table, usually in an alternate room, like in a little office or a bedroom, and people can funnel in and have private readings done all night long. And everybody that gets a reading done, this is a cool factor that I don't know if anybody else does that does anything similar to this. I actually give everybody who gets a reading a free gift. You can't beat that. You're the host of a party. Your guests come in to have a good time, and they get gifts. Wow. Couldn't get much better than that, could it? Keep that in mind, okay? Let's have that party. Bring your friends over and hire Darrah to be the psychic at your party. Now let's get back to what we were originally talking about, and that's change. Change who we are, or what we are. What would you change to make your life better? Would it just be a job? Would it be eating habits? Would it be physical appearance? Would you go far enough to change yourself as to get tattoos? Would you take it even farther and see a plastic surgeon and physically change your body in ways that you thought would be better? Like, and I'm not talking little superficial changes like, ooh, I've got a crooked nose, so I had a nose job and they straightened it out. Ooh, no, not little superficial changes, but I mean major ones like a full facelift or a tummy tuck or a bottom tuck or something out of the ordinary that makes you different than most people. A number of years ago, you guys all remember a show that was on TV called Ripley's Believe It or Not? There was a gentleman on there, I believe, that actually had horns designed and implanted, so he had horns in his head, kind of like a demon or a devil, however you want to say it. Nicest guy on the face of the planet, don't get me wrong. The guy came across really nice, really down to earth. He just wanted to be different. Good for him. Would you go that far as to go through surgery, go through pain to be different? I don't know. I consider myself to be pretty different than most people. Most people that meet me consider me different, usually in a good way. Some of them that don't know if it's what to think of me when they first meet me until after they get to know me a little bit, but you probably know someone like that. You might be that person as well. There's nothing wrong with being that person. That person makes things fun, interesting, makes life go by with a smile. That's an important thing, having a smile as you go through life. But keep in mind that everything is good, everything is great. So why do we need to change? I just want you to think about that for a while. Are you going to change who you are for someone else? I hope not. I hope if you change yourself, regardless what direction it is, either just by moving or physical change with surgery or tattooing or body piercing or whatever, that you're doing it because of you, because that's what you want. You think it's going to make you better, stronger, whatever. It's because of what you want, not because of what someone else wants. And that someone else doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter if they're your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend. It doesn't matter if it's your parents or your kids or wherever you're at. If you're changing something, you need to be the one making the change for you, not anybody else. Because if you don't, the change isn't worthwhile. Because them other people won't always be there. So keep that in mind. If you're changing, change for yourself, nobody else. Now let's move on a little bit. If you're new to my website, which is visionsbydarrah.com, I'd like to thank you for coming and checking it out. And I'm going to give you a little rundown, if you haven't really read over the whole website, of who I am, what I do, and I hope that you enjoy the website. I hope you guys enjoy RadioVisions, the programming. And we're trying to expand that, but I'll come back to that here in a little bit because I explained a little bit last night on some problems we're having, and I'll touch base on those again. But if you're new to the website and haven't really read over the whole thing, my name is Darrah. I'm a psychic. I do corporate events, private parties, church events, museums, so on and so forth. I do personal readings out of my home. So if you're in the Wichita, Kansas area where I live and you need a reading, look me up. We'll schedule you a reading. We'll get you in and get you taken care of. If you're hosting a private house party or a corporate party of any kind, and trust me, it doesn't have to be a big one, or it can be. If you're only going to have 5 to 10 people at this party, perfect. Psychic parties for you. If you're going to have 5 to 5,000 people, perfect. I've got a show for you that will cover that many people. We can get you covered no matter what you're wanting. So keep that in mind as well. But this is where it gets kind of interesting. I am actually a natural born psychic. So that if you don't know what that means the gifts I have always been with me. I didn't have to really work at getting them to come to the surface. They were always kind of there. I have taken many, many years and fine-tuned them to make them work more accurately for me. And it's just really a wonderful thing. And doing what I do, everybody can do it. Some of you do it in an everyday life now and don't even realize it. You call it tuition or your lucky guess or whatever. The phone rings, you go, oh, it's Jill, and you pick the phone, oh, it's Jill, And you do that without physically looking at a caller ID box. Come on now. Anybody can do that. But there's a handful of people that have this talent that seems to always be there. That's kind of like athletes. They always seem to be a little bit better without really having to practice as hard as some of the other people do to be just as good. Anybody who's intellectual, some of them people just seem to pick it up, bang, 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 and other people have to really work at it to get to that same level. So it's the same concept, but anybody out there that wants to be very intuitive, very open-minded, you can do that. It takes a little work, takes a little practice, but you can do that. Like I said, I was born this way with this talent already out on the surface, so it was a little easier for me to kind of understand what was going on. So please read over the website. You get all the juicy little details that's there and learn a little more about me. And if you would like to know things before anybody else, here's an easy way to do it. Go to the page that's called Contact Us /newsletter page. Sign up for the newsletter. The newsletter only goes out once a month. On very rare occasions, it will come out twice a month. But for the most part, it comes out once a month, and that's sometime during the first week of every month. And you will learn things by the newsletter that you may not learn unless you go to my website almost every day or every other day. So keep that in mind. You'll be the first to know the new shows coming up on RadioVisions, of new music coming up on RadioVisions. And something we're going to be starting as of March 1st on the newsletter is that we're going to start doing a monthly reading or a mini reading in the newsletter. So when you open it up, you will have a monthly reading for the month, basically. Kind of help you guide you through those choppy waters for each month, if you will. And I hope you enjoy that. I'd like feedback on stuff like that. And if you're out there listening right now and you would like a reading done over the air, just send me an instant message. Tell me what you're thinking, what you're needing, what you're wanting. And I will look into the void and tell you what's out there and kind of guide you through the problems or the things that are troubling you and try to help you work through that and get you back on the right path. So keep that in mind as well, okay? So sign up for that newsletter and let me know what you think and we will get you going, okay? And I've had a lot of people, when they find out I do a radio show, go, wow, how do you do that? And I go, in the beginning it was just a concept that I played with for a while. Then I did a radio program for a local radio station on Halloween one year. Then they brought me back the following year for Halloween again, and I decided I liked radio. I want to do my own show. Couldn't afford to start a multi-million-dollar radio station. Didn't even have $100,000 to start one. But I had a few $100s that I could start an internet radio station. So here I am with RadioVisions. And we are broadcasting live every Friday and Saturday nights between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. That is Central Time. So for you folks that are on each coast, that's either 2 hours ahead or 2 hours behind. Keep that in mind. And if you're in a different country listening to this, that could mean as much as 6 or 7 hours ahead or 6 or 7 hours behind the Central Standard Time. So keep that in mind as well. And the radio program has kind of just taken on a life of its own. Like I said, it was just kind of a thing I wanted to do, then figured out a way to do it, and here we are, boys and girls, going on like 3 or 4 months of broadcasting. For those who were with me in the beginning, you'd know that we were only doing the weekend shows to start with. And then we started doing music as of January 1st, 2009. And I do appreciate everybody that has been out there to support this and send in stuff or just listening to the music. I appreciate that very, very much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. But this is the problem I'm seeing. Okay, I told you it's had a downside. Here's the downside. During the live shows on Friday and Saturday nights, our broadcasting numbers for listeners have been dropping a little bit here and there. And if they drop any lower, I am considering not doing the live shows anymore and just leaving up the music 24/7 so you can get on and listen just to the music programs and have a good time and do what you need, do what you want. But I still need you to submit music regardless if we get rid of the live shows and all that. I still need you to submit music so we have something to play. And I do, like I said, I do appreciate everybody that has given me the support they've given me. Even if you're just a listener or if you're a participant or if you send in music, I thank you. I applaud you. But I still need more help. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I've listened to the live shows. You're beyond help. Well, that's a matter of opinion, but I need your help. I need more music. I need more listeners. I need more... Oh, I sound like that bad relationship where someone needs more. But in order to keep it going, I do need the listeners, boys and girls. Because it's not feasible for me to keep this up and running if I don't have my listeners. So get the word out there to everybody that the live shows may disappear if we don't have enough listeners on Friday and Saturday nights. And the participant, you get live readings done. When I book a private reading, there is a fee charged. But if you could wait until the weekend and use an instant messenger and still get a reading done, why not? Get live readings done for free. Sounds pretty cool to me, I think anyway. So keep that in mind, that you too could have a free live reading every Friday and Saturday night between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. Help us keep those numbers up there, boys and girls. We really need them. And on another note, not to keep bringing you down, but on another note, how many people have actually taken the time to really go through my website? Give me some feedback on it. Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you think? Oh, had you guys found the Let's Make a Deal page? That is so cool. I am trading a real estate book set, actually 2 book sets. One is the Carlton Sheets No Money Down Payment System for Real Estate. Highly educational, very good, very well written, worth every penny I spent for it. But now that I've got the knowledge, it's burnt into my little brain, I really don't need the books and the tapes and the videos anymore. So I was going to pass them on to someone else. But I'm not going to sell them. I'm going to trade them off. So I'm going to trade them to anybody else that has something that they think is of the same value or more. Fair enough. No money involved whatsoever. Just trading physical items for physical items. And in this trade, I also have a set of books from John Beck, who does real estate by tax liens and defaulted tax properties and all that. And that book is highly educational, or those books and the video on that are highly educational. And so I'm putting both of those real estate courses together and is sending them out into the world for someone who is willing to trade with me. And my goal is to start with these books and try to work my way up to vehicles, then trade vehicles into a motorhome. And that's kind of my idea for change or getaways, to get a motorhome and so I can disappear when I want to. Sounds cool. At least to me it sounds cool. I don't know about you guys, but to me it sounds very, very cool. So really go over that stuff, look at it, see how it is, see what it is, enjoy it. But like I said, give me some feedback on the website. Is it easy to use? Is it hard to use? Do you understand it? Do you not understand it? Tell me everything you can. I will and do appreciate everybody that emails me all the time. I just need more input, more feedback. So give me some of that and I will love you to death. And if you've been on the RadioVision pages, you can't help but notice the new show we're trying to put together called Secret Confessions. If you have ever wanted to get something off your chest, here's your chance. Send me an email outlining all your confessions, regardless if it's one because you stole a box of Girl Scout cookies from Grandma's house one day, or if it's something as big as I had an affair. This is your chance to get it off your chest. You don't even have to sign your name to it, because when we put the show together to air it on RadioVisions, there will be no names attached to anything, just your little stories. You can put as much detail in these confessions as you like, or as little. The whole idea is for you to get it off your chest so you feel better. And anybody listening can hear it. Who knows, the person that you wanted to tell this to, but couldn't, could actually tune in and listen to it. Maybe they'll know who it is, maybe they won't. Depends on how well they know you and what your confession is. So keep that in mind as well, okay? That we got this new show we're trying to launch called Secret Confessions. Give us some feedback on that. I'd appreciate that as well. I don't know how many of you live in Kansas or in the Wichita area, but today was just great outside. It was like pretty much in the 70s today. I was like, spring's already here. The strange and sad thing is next week it's probably going to be colder than I'll get out. But right now, this 60s and 70s weather, I like it. I like it a lot. I want more of it. I would like to see it only be 74 degrees all year long. 24/7, 366 days a year. And yes, I said 366 because why? Every so often we have a leap year. So I just try to cover all the bases by saying 66. And getting the strange looks when they go, huh? What? There's only 365. Most of the time, you're right, there's only 365. But every once in a while, there's that leap year that throws everybody's calendars off. So enjoy it when you can. So, if you're out there listening and want that free reading, send me that instant message and we will get that reading out there to you. I know with the warmer weather in a lot of areas of the country that people are outside until late at night instead of being bottled up inside like the winter months, but keep that in mind. That's great and that's wonderful, but don't forget about me. I need you. Come on, listen to me. I'm just having a good time right now. Just never mind the man behind the curtain. So, Valentine's Day is coming up, boys and girls. That's next weekend, Saturday the 14th. Have you figured out what you got for anybody yet? If you haven't figured it out yet, I've got the perfect solution for you. Buy them a reading in a bottle. A reading in a bottle is based on someone's name, but this is the cool thing. It doesn't have to be based on their name. If you buy one and say, hey, I don't want it based on Steve's name or Sally's name, I would like it be based on who they are, or maybe like a card reading or something like that. That's no big deal. I can do that as well. I picked the name to advertise it that way because it made it personal. It made it to them from you. And the cool thing is when you order these gifts, if you can get me a picture of them, a photograph, I can incorporate that into the printed version of this on parchment paper. So when we roll it up and put that black tassel around it and put it in that hand-picked beautiful glass bottle, they will remember this for the rest of their lives. I guarantee it. Once they get it, read it, and are awestruck, they will want to display this so other people can see it. They are that cool. They may leave them bundled up in the bottle, sitting out on their fireplace mantle or on a little end table in their house. I've known people to buy them and actually frame the parchment papers themselves. So keep that in mind. This is one gift that I can guarantee that they will not see coming. It is something they will enjoy immensely for a long time to come because it's so unique. So keep that in mind as well, okay? And regardless of what you do, get that special someone in your life, that present, that gift, that beautiful thing. Get them something. Make them something, buy them something, I don't care. But get them something. And like I said, a reading in a bottle, you can't go wrong with that. Reasonably priced. So keep that in mind as well. So let me know what's out there. Let me know what you thought about tonight's topic, change. Was it good? Was it bad? Did it make you think? Did it make you go, that's an everyday occurrence for me. It's no big deal. And if that just described you, email me and tell me why you're that way. Why you change that often, because I'm curious now. That's just mind boggles me if you change that often, I guess. I don't know why, but it does. It just really amazes me that people change their lifestyle or their physical appearance or whatever for someone else. And that's hard for me to deal with. I've been in a few bad relationships in the past. And a lot of the women I was in relationships with threw that into my face, that you want me to change. I've never asked anybody to change. If they felt the need to change because of how I acted or whatnot, I guess that's a little bit different, but then again, I was probably acting that way when we were dating. And if they didn't feel that way when we were dating, what changed once we got married or seriously dating or whatnot? What changed from that's just the way he is and that's how I fell in love with him to, oh, you want me to change? I'm going to have to change. I don't understand that. So, is change a good thing? Would you change who you are for someone else? Or is it just a big game that it doesn't really matter? Does change really matter? That's kind of scary to say, isn't it? Or doesn't it? Does it really matter? I don't know. I know a lot of people would like to change their occupation. Almost on a daily basis for some people. I am being forced to change one of my occupations. I have a part-time job in the evenings. And at the end of this month, end of February 2009, the store I'm working at will be closing permanently. So I am out of my part-time job. So I understand all the people that are caught up in these layoffs and store closings and all that. I understand that really, really well. How difficult it must be, especially if it's your only job. I actually have several jobs, so losing this part-time job to me isn't financially devastating like it is to a lot of the other people out there that only have one job and they lost it. Now I can understand the frustration and that goes along with it. But my heart goes out to you people because jobs are scarce. And the ones that are out there, the people are being so darn picky with hiring people right now that it's almost impossible to land a job. First they tell you you're not qualified enough. Then they tell you you're overqualified. Then they're telling you, well, we have a hiring freeze, even though they still have signs up saying that they're desperately needing people, and they're still putting ads in the paper. But they have a hiring freeze. That's the one that makes me scratch my head and go, didn't see that one coming. I know that sounds funny, but, so I understand that the change of occupation for a lot of people is a touchy area right now, but there are days I wish I could change my occupation and go do something new, something exciting, because life is getting to be a little mundane every day. Routine, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. And so, if your life becomes so routine where all the fun's gone, that's when you need to start thinking about changing yourself. Changing yourself into that new location, that new house, that new apartment, that new condo, whatever you think that change needs to be. Do it. If your life is routine and boring and predictable, it's time for a change, boys and girls. And that change will be for the better. I guarantee it. It may be scary once you actually start doing it. This is what kills me. Something needs to change in your life to make you happy. And once you narrow it down and think you know what that is to make yourself happy, you start working towards it. Let's say you give yourself 2 years to work towards it. First year flies by and you're okay. Second year's here. First 6 months flies by. You're still okay. But those last 6 months, as your timeline date gets closer and closer and closer, you start thinking, wow, am I really going to do this? This is kind of scary. I don't know if I can take that step. Trust me, I know what you're feeling on this one as well. I've given myself a timeline of almost 12 years to do something. My timeline ends in roughly 14 months. So I'm not even a year and a half. My timeline ends so where I need to move. I need to sell my house, leave the state of Kansas, and reinvent myself to make myself happy. And as that timeline gets closer, I'll admit I'm double thinking some things, thinking, is this really what I want? Because right now I have a house. It's not much, but it's my house. I'm still able to make the payments on it. I'm still, it's not paid off. That'd be even nicer if it was, but it's not. So I'm making the payments on it. I'm doing what I can to keep it. I keep it fixed up. I keep the yard looking nice as I can. But the thought of actually moving out and doing something different excites me. It excites me to no end. But on the other hand, it's also very, very scary saying, if you do this and it don't work, then what? That's the scary part. If it don't work. Because if it works, you don't think twice about it. Oh, I knew it was going to happen, blah, blah, blah. But giving up everything and starting something new and something different, that can be scary. I will agree 100%. That can be scary. But it's also a good thing to get out there and try new things, do new things. Reinvent yourself. But as long as you're doing it for yourself, changing who you are or what you want, that's good. That's great. Just don't do it for someone else. Now, I am going to rephrase that just a little bit. If you are in a relationship, like you're married, or if you've been with this other person for a long time, like 5, 10, 15 years, and one of you wants to move to the beach out in California, but the other one would like to move to the hills in Colorado somewhere, then you guys are going to have to work out some happy medium so you're both happy. Can you move to the mountains in Colorado but have a 30 or 40 minute drive until you're to one of the big lakes? Or live in the mountains in California so you have a 30-minute drive or an hour drive to the beach? You're going to have to figure out some give and takes there if you're in a relationship that you want to stay together. And that is a very good thing to do. Very good. But if you're pretty much single by yourself, you can do whatever you want, however you want. Keep that in mind. Life is too short to really suck, You may think it sucks, but life is just too short. Don't let it bring you down. Because if you think about the bad things all the time, life gets hard. It gets hard real quick. So try to get your life in perspective. Try to make yourself happy as possible. And most of all, love yourself. I know that sounds like a no-brainer, but a lot of people out there don't seem to like themselves at all. You need to love yourself. Love yourself like no one else has ever loved you. So keep that in mind as well, okay? Well, boys and girls, the night is winding down. It's getting closer to that time. So in the signing off things, I'd like to let everybody know for this coming week. This coming week is going to be a great week for everybody. Those black clouds are going to lift and float away for those of you out there that are really needing to see some sunshine. Some sunshine is going to peek into your little world this coming week. It's going to start happening about Tuesday, but by Thursday you're really going to see the difference. Some of that stress is going to be lifting off of you, and it's just going to be feeling really good, really comfortable. So take that as a good omen, a good time to make those little changes to tweak your outlook on what's going on. Keep that outlook out there because it can help you as well. But this coming week's going to be a good week, full of hope and sunshine and good intentions. Keep your head up, eyes on the future, and life will give you back what you give it. So remember that. Just keep in mind that life will give you what you give it. Pretty poetic, I know, but man, so true. Very true, 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 true. So keep that in mind as well, okay? Well, boys and girls, this is Darrah. You've been listening to Radio Visions, and I am signing off for the night. So y'all have a great weekend and a great week, and we will see you next weekend. Have a great one. Bye-bye.